Hey guys, I'm Randy Unger, and this is another episode of Unger the Radar, where we talk all things film and sometimes TV, especially tonight. And I have a wonderful panel of guest critics. As always, we have the great power couple, Rachel Kolb and Eric Godfrey. Hey guys.
Hi.
Hello.
Good to see you again. It's been a few weeks, but here we are again. I'm happy about that.
Good to be here.
Yeah, and back for more, Mr. Thomas Puglisi. Welcome back, Thomas.
Hey, how's it going? Glad to be back again. Second week in a row.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for taking the time, guys. All right, so we have our two reviews of the evening, and then basically we're going to start off with The Black Phone. I know it's been out for a while, but I finally caught it on Amazon Prime, so I thought it'd be interesting to talk about. And then we'll follow that up with Willow, now streaming on Disney Plus, the new sequel series. But before we get into all that fun, I just wanted to go around. What are we watching this week? Our weekly watches, Rachel and Eric.
We're getting caught up on 2022 because there was a lot, especially with awards season right around the corner.
Yep.
So one that I'm both glad that I finally watched, but sad that it took me over a year, was finally watched Everything Everywhere all at once.
Oh.
And surprise, surprise, the general consensus is right. It's a masterpiece. And it's probably my favorite movie now of 2022. It's neck and neck with Banshee of Inisherin. It's like those are my two favorite movies of 2022 so far. Is Banshee and Everything Everywhere, and it's like I just don't know which one's my favorite.
They're so good and they're so different from one another. So.
Yes,
Very, very, very different.
Agreed that they are among the best films of the year for sure. Everything is definitely on my top 10. It's in the top 3 actually. But we're gonna be doing a best of and a worst of episode as we usually do every year, but that's not going to be for another few weeks or so. So sneak peek.
Well, spoiler for my top 2 then.
Yes, it's fine. It's fine. I've definitely mentioned my number one a few times already, The Whale, but yeah,
which I still have not seen. So
well, you have some time, sir.
Exactly,
yes,
which I do.
Yes, it is. So. It is very much at the top of my want to see list.
Absolutely.
I did see actually on the flight out here to see family. I ended up rewatching Addams Family Values, which I haven't watched for a very long time, and it holds up. Yeah. Really, really excellent to rewatch that after watching Wednesday.
Yeah. I haven't watched them like back to back. Do they kind of feel similar to each other? Do they complement each other?
Wednesday
I would say that there's definitely a different sort of vibe between the two of them, but I would say I think a lot of like the sort of social commentary of Addams Family Values definitely holds up.
You definitely feel the Burton energy.
Yeah. Well, right. I was gonna say, isn't it Soderbergh that did
Barry Sonnenfeld.
Barry Sonnenfeld.
Yeah, but I was gonna say Burton doing the TV show.
Yeah,
but
I think Burton was going much more for the original comic strip than
New Yorker.
Some of the actors that show up in it, I'd completely forgotten that Cynthia Nixon was in it very briefly as one of the potential nannies. Of course, Christine Baranski as one of the camp counselors is just so funny. I think it is very much worth a rewatch, and it is streaming right now on Netflix. So if you have Netflix,
aside from Ghostbusters 2, it is Peter McNichol's crowning achievement. Cool. Is that everything, Rachel, that you're watching these days?
Oh, let me think. I mean, I'm certainly watching a lot of other things. I would also give another shout out. I know I've shouted it out on the show before, but We're Here. I want to see it get another season. I would be very happy to see it continue on. Really some of the best reality TV that's out there right now. And also reality TV that's not a competition show. Just wonderful, very timely, good stuff. So
okay, noted. I love it. Great. Mr. Puglisi, how about you, sir?
Well, I've watched actually a couple short films on YouTube recently. Like there's one short film I thought would be actually interesting to mention because I didn't know about the existence of this short film till actually, believe it or not, yesterday. Well, I watched this short film called Disciples of the Crow, which is actually based off of Stephen King's Children of the Corn book. So it's just like a 20-minute long short film, and it's pretty much like a short film version of Children of the Corn. But it was made a year before the first Children of the Corn movie, so technically that's the first Children of the Corn movie.
Wow. So
Yeah,
you think
so there's that.
there's
Yeah,
probably inspiration for the feature.
yeah. And another movie actually I also just watched yesterday. It was actually a pretty unusual movie. It was called The Company of Wolves, and like it was like a gothic fairy tale like movie, like that was directed by the director of Interview with the Vampire. So it's
Oh,
almost
cool.
like yeah, almost like a gothic fairy tale version of Little Red Riding Hood.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm very
That's-
interested. Yeah.
Oh yeah. And it's got like one of the most graphic werewolf transformations I've ever seen, which, oh god, it's like made my skin crawl. I mean, the guy literally tears away at his face, turning into a wolf.
Sounds awesome. Was it better than an American Werewolf in London?
It's a good question right there, because American Werewolf in London is one of my favorite werewolf movies of all time. But I mean, but I think it's right up there though. And heck, like all those werewolf effects were all done practically, no CGI.
Nice. That's the best. And what year was this film?
It was in the 80s, I know. I
Okay,
don't know
yeah.
exactly, I just know it was the 80s for sure.
Figured. Yeah, that sounds awesome.
Question for you, Thomas. Have you seen Byzantium?
Hmm.
Santiago?
It came out in 2012, and it's also by the director of Interview with a Vampire. But it's another vampire movie that I really enjoyed.
I actually have not, but I'll definitely look into that now.
Yeah,
Zan-
definitely. It's good
Nice.
stuff.
Yeah, Thomas is our resident horror expert, so yeah, it's awesome. Any recommendations from Thomas are serious business, so that's awesome. Yes, Fright. I love Fright Night. Oh, yes, beautiful, beautiful collection, sir. All right, and as for me, I've actually just on my lunch break at work, I just watched random Howard Stern clips. I'm like fully addicted to this man's career. And I just watch any random clip. It doesn't even, there's no order really. And it's just all awesome. And it's just really funny. And yeah, I love seeing this stuff. I actually, right before this show tonight, I was rewatching Private Parts, which is a really good biopic for Howard, especially for Howard fans. And
Well, Paul Giamatti's in that, isn't he?
yeah, an early role, yeah.
Yep.
As Pig Vomit. He
Yep.
So in 1997, so I think he was like in his late 20s, early 30s, but he looks exactly the same now. So I don't know what that tells you. But yeah, Private Parts, it's great. It's serious replay value. It's awesome. And also, Thomas and I were fortunate enough to catch the new Deadly Doll movie, Megan. So that was interesting. I wasn't a huge fan of it. It was just a fun, stupid horror movie, which it had some strong elements, but overall, I don't think it was really worth the price of admission. It's probably something you catch late night on cable. But Thomas, real quick, what did you think of Megan?
Well, I actually enjoyed Megan. I mean, and the funny thing is, I didn't think I was going to enjoy it because of the fact, January released movie, and also it kind of reminded me of the Child's Play remake. But surprisingly, it turned out pretty good. I mean, it was a lot of fun. I mean, it was at times actually pretty suspenseful. I mean, I also did like the whole satire it had as well. So yeah, I enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was dumb fun, but yeah, it was okay.
Yeah.
I thought that the performance from the little girl was pretty strong, so that was good. And also
That was Nepo baby Allison Williams.
Allison Williams, she was kind of a generic concerned mother character. Everyone knows her from Girls and other stuff. She was also Peter Pan in the live musical on I think.
And of course, Get Out.
Yep.
Oh,
Yep.
Get Out, yeah, of course.
Mhm.
I'm still waiting though for her to really shine in a performance. I have yet to see that. I know she's got it in her, so she's
Yeah, you definitely see glimpses of that in Get Out.
okay. I remember a scene in Get Out where she's she's online looking at potential basketball players,
Yep.
guys she wants to like hook up with, who's like the next NBA prospect, and that's who her next victim's going to be. So for some reason that scene really stuck with me, but that's a great movie overall.
Yeah, for that I would also say the scene with her putting on the cry face for the cop car right at the end when she's like, "Oh no, officer, he's gonna kill me."
That
Very
movie's
good.
crazy, yeah. All right, guys. Oh, also I saw Elvis last night in all its entirety. It's like close to a 3 hour movie, but I thought it was very, very good, very entertaining. With the exception of Tom Hanks, I think he wasn't really right for the role, but
I
You'll find
agree with
someone-
you on that.
I-
I absolutely agree.
Shockingly disagree. I actually really like Tom Hanks.
Really?
But
Okay.
we ended up watching it the other week as well, and our biggest disagreement in that, and clearly Rachel agrees with you, is whether or not the cartoon character that Tom Hanks plays is.
yeah,
Which, don't get me wrong, he's a cartoon character in it.
right.
He is, but
Well,
it's
I
whether or
think-
not that's works
Sure.
with Baz's
yeah.
frantic, frenetic everything.
Well, for 2022 Hanks performances, I think it's a lot better than his turn in Pinocchio. So that's so I think we're in agreement there.
Yeah, because I guess Man Called Otto would be 2023, I would think, right?
Yeah, that came out this month, I think.
Oh, which one? I'm sorry.
that new
Man
one he's
Called
in.
Otto.
Yeah, that's a 2023.
That's this year, yeah.
Yeah, which
Yeah.
it's on my list of stuff to see for sure.
Yeah. But I definitely agree with you. I think that Hanks was very much miscast in that movie.
I think, I mean, Austin Butler won the Golden Globe for, I think it was for musical or comedy,
Yeah.
Mhm.
which he was good. I mean, he gave a very, very good performance, and he sounded just like him. He even sounded like him when he accepted the award. So I guess he kind of just adopted that accent. But yeah, I don't know if he does. I know he's going to be nominated for an Oscar. I just really hope Brendan Fraser wins. You know, it's either
Yeah.
It's going to be an interesting year
Well,
when it comes to best actor.
It was pretty much a given that Brendan Fraser was not going to be winning the Golden Globe because of the various things going on with him and the Golden Globes. But I'm very happy to see that it seems like he's still on track to win the
Yeah.
Academy Award.
No, keep your hopes up, because then at the last minute it's going to be Tom Cruise from Top Gun stealing it at the last minute. It's going to come rappelling down from the rafters.
I honestly, it's a popularity contest, the Oscars. So I'm pretty sure Colin Farrell's going to win for Battle.
I know you said we're going to talk about it later, but I honestly
Yeah.
I see it being a throw up between Austin, Fraser, Key from Everything Everywhere. I could see Colin.
I think he would be supporting though.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, good point. Good
Yeah.
point. with supporting.
he's
So
going to win supporting for sure.
I feel like when it comes to Oscar, I do think it might be Colin. I could see it going. That's, like I said, a whole different discussion. But I could see
Yes.
Fraser winning.
And
but
this
maybe.
this will also date when we watched Elvis. We actually watched it the night that we were an hour into the film and the news broke about Lisa Marie Presley.
Oh,
So
That was a surreal moment.
yeah, very, very surreal moment to be literally in the middle of watching the movie and find out that she had just passed away.
I know, it's very heartbreaking.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah, that was really
Kind of very surreal moment.
yeah. It's like the movie literally broke her heart or something. I don't know what happened there. But I believe the nominations will be announced this week. Yeah, actually in 2 days, 24th. So yeah, very
Guess we'll
exciting.
find out.
Yeah, for sure. And obviously we will talk more about that in the coming week or two. But before that, let's get into our first movie review. And it is the horror thriller coming of age story, The Black Phone, which is really a horrific tale. It's actually based on a short story about basically the grabber, who is a kidnapper, murderer, who basically kidnaps young kids, teenagers. And once the kids are in this prison in a basement of a house, there is a supernatural element of revolving around a black telephone, which basically you can hear what other victims are saying. You can basically communicate with other prisoners. And Ethan Hawke is in it. He was actually the main selling point for me because I love everything the man's done in the past decade. He's a really good actor. But he was really underused in this, I think. It was really all about the main boy. And I think he gave a phenomenal performance for a young kid. But yeah, Thomas, you're the horror man. What did you think of The Black Phone?
Oh, I thought it was a very good movie. I mean, like, I really do like the claustrophobic environments. That's actually something I'm always a big fan of. Like, that's why I like movies like Night of the Living Dead and Cujo, because the claustrophobic environment. So I did like that. I also did like the eerie atmosphere and yeah, I thought the performances by the main kid, like you said, was pretty good, especially with what the kid does towards the end, when he actually fights back at Ethan Hawke. So, and also I did actually think that the grabber's mask was actually pretty scary. So
Yeah, those masks were terrifying.
Like I like that interchangeability. Like when I first saw him, like, that's a creepy mask. And I'm like, oh, I like the constant changing of all the parts of the mask. That actually worked a lot.
He
for
changed
me.
it like by mood, it seems.
Yeah,
So,
exactly. You're right. Where it was like the personality was dictated by the
Right.
different pieces, which I enjoyed about that.
right, it's very psychological if you think about it.
Mhm.
Cool. Rachel, what were your thoughts?
I know no one has brought this up yet, but the actress that played the daughter, that played the main character's sister, just fantastic. Really great performance from her. I think if anything, she actually stood out for me more than the main character.
Madeline
I think that she gave just some really very real child moments, particularly all of her moments of praying about getting more dreams and about praying to God and kind of having a crisis of faith about it, that it's like, wait a minute, am I just talking to myself? Are you actually helping me? I thought she was really a very compelling character to follow.
that
And she
was
also
Madeline McGraw. She was very good, very feisty in certain scenes. A
and
real
she
fighter.
also had the best line of the movie where she called the detectives effing fart knockers.
Yes. Yeah, it was fun having a movie where kids were not afraid to swear and not afraid to
Mhm.
just kind of act like kids do. So
Yeah.
it did feel extremely Stephen King-ish in that sense.
Yeah. It really does show you how much how much Joe Hill is, how much of that DNA, storytelling DNA, he genuinely shares
Yeah.
with Stephen King.
Plus, he looks just like him. I googled him.
Yeah, it is scary how much
It's
the two
eerie.
look alike.
Like they should do a movie together, father and son.
Well, they wrote a comic book a while ago called American Vampire that is very good,
Okay.
and I know they've been trying to get it made for the longest time, and I hope they do.
Okay.
So
Cool. It sounds familiar. I've definitely heard of the title.
yeah,
But,
the parts that the two of them wrote together was really good.
nice. Yeah, this film is really strong evidence that he has a gift for storytelling. So
Mhm,
definitely inherited that from his dad for sure.
mhm.
It's cool. But yeah, again, I was underwhelmed by Ethan Hawke's performance. I think that any other leading man could have pretty much, given that performance. A less expensive actor, maybe.
Mhm.
But it was cool to see him in that type of role. I don't think I've ever seen Hawk as a villain before. But yeah, it's cool. All right. So last thoughts, Thomas, on The Black Phone.
Well, I of course would say see it. I mean, like if you like horror movies that are time period pieces, I think this is kind of a movie for you.
Nice. Eric, sir?
I think it's surprisingly good. And one thing that I really liked about it, and this is, I think, where again the Stephen King, and I always enjoy when a horror movie introduces a supernatural element and reminds stories that supernatural elements don't need to be inherently malicious.
Okay.
And that's probably one of the things I enjoyed the most about Black Phone, is the idea that this supernatural element is a benefit to the characters.
Yeah, it's kind of similar to Crimson Peak.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, something like Crimson Peak.
That the hauntings aren't there to, you know, be a detriment to the main character, but to help it both for the Black Phone and for the daughter's little psychic, you know, premonitions.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
I think that's a very much a Stephen King thing and a Joe Hill thing. I'm always glad when storytellers remind, or when they always are able to find that way to do that. And so I think Black Phone does that very well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was very subtle, the supernatural element. I was very pleased
Mhm.
with that. And yeah, I agree. It wasn't, you know, malicious or anything. It was there to kind of guide guide the main character, guide the story, and basically just get him the hell out of that basement. So yeah, I definitely recommend it. Oh, sorry, Rachel.
Oh, I was just gonna say that now having seen the film, I actually did the haunted house at Halloween Horror Nights that was based around Black Phone, and in retrospect, I think they could have done a better job. I feel like the haunted house that I got out of that was kind of generic and didn't really give me as much of the story. Now that I know the story, I think that they probably could have done a better job with it. Generally with the haunted house, I was just scared by the masks. So
Where was that that haunted house?
that was in Orlando at Universal Studios.
Well, yeah, they probably had to make it more kid friendly, so in doing so, it was less impactful.
Yeah, I think it was also impacted because they had another case where it was a Blumhouse house that they had it split in half. That the first half
That's
I think
right,
was
that's right. It was
Black Phone.
Freaky and Black Phone.
Yeah, the two movies were Freaky and Black Phone, and neither one of them were really served bad, unfortunately, because both movies are excellent original horror movies, and neither one of them really got a good treatment from it.
Yeah, I really enjoyed Freaky. That was, I think, in 2020, I believe. And
I think that sounds right.
yeah,
Yeah, it was funny.
that was a fun horror comedy. Thanks to the leading actress and Vince Vaughn. It was basically like Freaky Friday, but with a horror spin to it. And yeah, that was a fun one. I think we reviewed that together, guys, right?
I think so, yeah, because the original title of the movie was Freaky Friday the 13th, but they ended up changing it. The studio changed it.
Yeah, because Paramount owns the rights to the title Friday the 13th.
Right.
There you go. Oh yeah, Blumhouse. Yeah, they're doing very well. The past couple years have been very good.
Well, this even though you two of you weren't as big on Megan, it's definitely it's become a huge
yeah. They're going to be
the Megan
doing
verse.
well.
Yeah,
Going to be able to bring a lot more.
Yeah,
a lot more original horror, I think, out of Blumhouse just from the money they're getting from Megan.
yeah.
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
I think they have a good staff of writers with them.
Well,
You
what
know.
I appreciate is they remind me of it's like you can make smaller movies, just, you know, like when you think of Black Phone, it is a very simple movie. Like that's the thing. It's a very, there's not a lot to it, but what it does very well. And I think that's where Blumhouse is a reminder of sometimes the best horror is simple. It's an hour and a half. It's, you know, there's not a lot, you know, you have and I think Blumhouse is kind of always reminding that not everything needs to be a $200 million.
Right.
And so it's like, you can make these smaller horror movies and you can have that be your brand.
It boils down to story, actors, and you really don't need many sets because this movie had just a handful. It was just the basement, the school, the two kids, you know, house, and a city, you know, a suburban street, and that's really
exactly.
good. And that's
probably the biggest thing they paid for was Ethan Hawke.
Or the mask.
I think you're right. I agree with that. So you got to get butts in the seats, and you know, Ethan Hawke does that. So.
Yep.
All right. Well, I say see the Black Phone. It's currently on Amazon Prime streaming. So if you haven't checked it out already, please do so. It's awesome. And check out other Blumhouse productions. Even Megan. I'm gonna revisit it. I'm gonna revisit it, and you know, maybe it's one of those movies. It's repeat viewing. So we'll see. All right. So we're gonna take a short break, but guys, we'll be back with more movie reviews or TV reviews right after this.
Under the Radar is brought to you by Magnitude Jewelry. Add a 2 to match your attitude. patent pending, interchange genuine gemstone and crystal EMF protection jewelry. For more information, please visit magnitudejewelry.com/gemgirl or call 718-268-6634.
Hey guys, welcome back to the show. Randy Unger. And our second review of the evening is a lot different than the Black Phone. It is actually the much anticipated sequel. It's a sequel series, rather, to the 1988 fantasy epic adventure, one of my personal favorite films, Willow, and the story of a young wannabe sorcerer played by Warwick Davis. He is a dwarf or a Nelwyn in this mystical land, and his children come across a baby who has been sent to him sort of like Moses, and basically this child is prophesized as being a great warrior, a great mystical leader, and basically Willow goes on this quest to basically protect this baby and bring it to someone who can, look after her. Along the way, he meets Mad Mardigan, played by Val Kilmer. Mad Mardigan is a not so noble knight, but he eventually becomes noble in this quest, and that is Willow, 1988. Disney Plus has recently released all episodes of the sequel series, which basically picks up a number of years, about maybe 15 years or so after the events of the film. And basically Willow is basically sucked into a new quest. And Elora Danan is now a young adult, and they go on this quest, and it is, harrowing. There is evil at every turn. The characters in the series are very colorful. Honestly, I was not impressed. I had been waiting a while for this, and I was foolishly optimistic, but it was very cool to see them revisit the storyline of Willow and his universe. Unfortunately, I did feel it was more of like an overly expensive soap opera with some action elements, and that's it. But I think a few of you are going to disagree with me. Eric, I'm looking at you.
Yeah, actually, I did enjoy it.
Okay.
Surprisingly enough, and I am a huge fan of the original Willow. The George Lucas wanted to make Lord of the Rings, they wouldn't let him, so he just made his own Lord of the Rings.
Basically.
And the thing is, I kind of get it. It's a very tonal difference between the original one but it was the thing is it's very much kind of young adult adventure series. But I think there was something about one, it was just nice seeing Warwick Davis very comfortably back as Willow Offgood, and just you could tell he really liked being there, and it was just really nice to see this Obi-Wan version of Willow.
Yeah.
That has now become the sorcerer he was always
Right.
supposed to be in the original one. And surprisingly enough, I really liked the weird characters.
Okay.
I liked Borman. I liked
He was good.
Graydon.
I'll give you Borman. Yeah, he was
and
entertaining.
it's kind of like this slew of little weirdo characters.
Yeah.
I'm like, I kind of like this weird little adventure series.
I particularly really enjoyed Graydon.
Mhm.
Oh yeah,
the actor from Grand Budapest Hotel. I think that he was really well used here. I think that in future seasons, I think they could really do some fun stuff with him, especially setting up that he's kind of this combination of that he has these very silly moments or these very like sort of he's kind of this hopeless romantic type, but that he also has these very dark things in his past involving his brother, and involving him like some supernatural elements. I thought that was really great. And again, Borman, just fantastic new character. I actually came to Willow a lot later, I think, than the rest of you. I actually only saw it for the first time when Disney Plus became a thing, and I said, I've never seen Willow. I'm gonna finally watch this movie.
Yes.
And I was a kid that grew up reading the Redwall books and loved all sorts of young adults sort of fantasy, and it just hit me right in the heart, and I fell in love with it, and I was very happy that I did not have to wait as long as the rest of you for a Willow series. So maybe for that reason I was a little bit more forgiving for it. It very much reminded me kind of those sort of episodic like the Redwall series, just like kind of returning to that world, and that it's maybe not necessarily the same sort of story as before, but that it's, you know, kind of got a lot of sort of similar elements. I will say future seasons, they need more magical creatures, because that magical creature that Graydon was hanging out with in the
Yes.
Endless Sea was amazing.
Kenneth.
And I want more of that. That was wonderful.
That
So-
was a mudmander, and basically it's a sea creature that basically works as a dragging sleds across the shattered sea. And Graydon, or Tony Revolori, he befriends and names the creature Kenneth, and this character stole my heart. In the few scenes that he was in, he reminds me of Dobby. He reminds me of every cute creature that I want to hang out with. And Kenneth was the star.
And I would definitely
with
agree that I feel like that episode, both visually and everything, was kind of like, it's like, if we get more, I hope that's kind of the benchmark for what this series, because I feel like that's where the series felt the most comfortable in finding what it wanted to be as a sequel to Willow.
Yeah. Plus, it was practical. That creature was practical, as far as I know, anyway. But yeah, I mean, I wanted to love this show. I did not. I love the movie so much, so I was really let down. You know, the tone, like Eric, you said, the tone was definitely different. But yeah, it was a letdown for me. Thomas, what did you think of Willow?
Well, if I'm going to be honest about this as well, I mean, I was a little disappointed myself.
Okay.
So I mean, like, because it did feel more like a teen drama than it did a fantasy movie. So there was that. So it did feel more like that Willow was more of the supporting character, and these teen characters were the main characters, and Willow was the title character. So there was that, and like also I did miss Mad Mardigan, but I understand that Val Kilmer couldn't come back due to his condition.
Yeah.
So I understand that, but I mean, I just really liked Mad Mardigan in the movie. Like, I really liked all the scenes with Willow and Mad Mardigan playing off each other.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So that's something I did miss from the show. And also there was times, like, you know, while the practical set pieces were actually pretty good, but there was times where I could clearly tell the backgrounds were just CGI, and wasn't really impressed by those CGI backgrounds.
Yeah.
So,
It was
yeah.
really. It was just an expensive soap opera, really.
Oh yeah.
Lucasfilm poured a lot of money into this. You can tell from the sets, from the CGI to the costumes and everything. I wish
to the Kevin Pollak.
I do agree that I think it's the thing of, unfortunately, it's clear that they had to use the Willow name, but it's like, if I had to, I'd probably call this more the Elora Danan TV series.
Yeah. Oh, I would actually say that as well. I mean, there was things I did like, of course. I mean, I did like seeing Warwick Davis play Willow again.
Yeah.
And also some of the makeup effects on the creatures were pretty good as well. So yeah, I did like some of that stuff.
And I agree with you about with the Val. And I think one thing I do appreciate, in the same way that both Top Gun found a very good way of being able to integrate Val Kilmer into the series. With this one, I did appreciate there's a late show cameo and basically an episode dedicated to how much we miss Val Kilmer as Mad Mardigan, that I thought was a sweet tribute to him.
Right. Of course, I mean, slight spoiler here. We do sort of hear Val Kilmer's voice. I'm assuming it's someone else who.
Yeah, it was actually his son.
Yeah.
Was it his son?
Yes, it was his son.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, it was the same one who did the narration for his documentary.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
wonderful.
Val is so good. That's a great
Agreed.
comment. But yeah,
Now, one thing I will probably agree with you on, I think my biggest criticism of this series, and this is what I want them to fix, and this is where Randy, I think you're going to agree with me a lot. My biggest criticism is the original Willow had one of the most beautiful scores. I love that theme song. I love that score, and you hear it. You get hints of it, but then it's just like you get this weird teeny bopper stuff, and I'm like, no.
Well, you get
get that horn, get that score.
You get a
back
lot of
in
covers of like pop hits.
Yeah, to like close
Oh,
out the episodes, and it's just like
the pop songs totally took me out of everything. It took me out of
Yeah.
Yeah,
like,
if anything, like do their own original score, not a pop song.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
like
Yeah.
you've been handed one of my favorite fantasy scores of all time. Use that.
That is where I completely agree.
And you would
I
hear
thi-
it,
I
like
think-
Willow would come in, you'd
Right.
hear the theme, you're like,
Right,
yeah.
right.
It's just-
Mhm.
You know what that is? They did the same thing with Justice League. The Justice League movie, they had just a glimmer of Danny Elfman's Batman theme.
That's right. That's
in
right.
select moments, and it was such a tease. I was so disappointed.
They did the same thing actually with John Williams' Superman score in that same movie as well.
That's
Yeah,
right.
so-
That's right.
Like, just give us a full blown, like maybe
But-
10, 20, 15 second, explosion of score.
Yeah.
Instead of
I think if they
5 second
if they fix that, they bring back that beautiful orchestrated score from
Yes.
the original Will and expand
Yeah.
upon it, like not just have literally replay it, but have someone come in and rescore it with that in mind. I think
Right.
you would see a very different
Mhm.
feeling from
And
a lot of these episodes.
I will say, regardless of whether or not we get a second season, which I do really hope that we do,
too.
because I think
I
that
think we
they
will.
could fix a lot of these issues very easily.
Right.
Regardless of that, let's give Warwick Davis some more leading roles and things, because he's
Agreed.
he's such a great actor. And
Yeah.
like the fact that he's not getting, like more than one leading role in something, like give him more stuff to do. He's a
Yeah.
very talented guy. He's got great like screen presence. Just
Mhm.
we love him.
He was good in the original film. I mean, he was only like 18,
Oh, yeah.
But like 30, close to 35 years later, you could see it in his facial expressions, in his performance. He is a seasoned actor now, and
Mhm.
definitely needs a really good role. Maybe even a drama with like him and a kid, like kind of like The Whale or something. I don't know.
I was literally about to say, are we gonna
Yeah.
get the Warwick songs?
Yeah, I think, and they're about the same age, him and Brendan. So we need a Warwick Sans or a Warwick era. I think it's coming. Hopefully, with this series, Warwick will get more attention,
I hope
and
so.
not just Leprechaun sequels.
No, no.
We'll see. We will see. But Eric, I wanted to backtrack a little bit to James Horner, who in 1988 wrote this beautiful. This is one of his early scores, and it's like one of the first instances where you can really, really see or hear the brilliance of Horner's of his talent. He unfortunately passed away. I think it was in 2016. And so his score here, it wasn't adapted, but like you said, you do hear the Willow theme peppered.
Yeah.
Throughout this.
It's like Willow shows up, you hear it, and you're like,
Right.
It's like it's gone. It's like,
and it's such a quiet, subtle thing. It's really disappointing. James Newton Howard has written actually a very good score for the series, and he has adapted his themes in small moments like that. James Newton Howard, he's done a lot of Disney scores. He did Dinosaur, the CGI live action film from 2000. Treasure Planet. He did one of the Peter Pan adaptations.
I think, did he do the one with Jason Isaac as Captain Hook? The one that you really like?
Yeah,
I think so.
That's a beautiful score for that film.
2003. Yeah.
Yeah.
That is a
Really
beautiful
good
score.
Yeah, which famously on the red carpet for Lord of the Rings, Peter Jackson was asking one of the reporters had had a chance to see Peter Pan, and he wanted to know how the sword fights were.
I remember that movie not being very good, but the score was phenomenal.
Mhm.
He also did the remake of King Kong. He's done a ton of great scores. Oh, he also did a number of M. Night Shyamalan movies. Signs actually has a very
I definitely remember his sign song.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
very
it works. It worked for the movie. So
yeah, he's a great composer. But
Mhm.
for Willow on Disney Plus, I don't think his talent was fully realized in the score.
yeah, I think it gets drowned out by the
Yeah.
weird covers, and it's like,
Mhm.
all right, back off on those. Let the
Yeah.
score
The
soar.
occasional one that's fine. Like
Yeah.
even a couple of them on their own were fine.
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
But
It's like I want that score.
I know.
Mhm.
I mean, you can't compare this score to the original '88 film. They're just so
Yeah.
different. And yeah, Thomas, are you a fan of the original score?
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely a fan of the original score. I mean, I was technically just in general a really fan of the original movie in general.
Yep.
So I think it's one of the best 80s fantasy movies.
Agreed. Yeah. So going back to the original, so that was directed by the great Ron Howard. I believe it was his fourth film after Night Shift, Splash, and Cocoon. And those are
So
all
really
great movies. Those are really, and it's weird that they selected him to direct such a big grand epic as
So-
Willow.
I'm trying to remember because I think it was obviously a Lucas project, and I know I don't think he wanted to direct. So I think because Lucas and Ron Howard had such a really good relationship,
Mhm.
and I don't know why. I think just Lucas wasn't looking for directing at that time, but so I think that's how Howard got brought on.
Yeah, I'm glad he did. I mean, I could have seen Spielberg. It would have been like another Indiana Jones type project, that fun energy. But we had that anyway with Ron Howard. So
Yeah.
Yeah, and I also wanted to mention the fact that the writer and developer of the show who really made this show happen was Jonathan Kasdan, whose father, Lawrence Kasdan, is probably best known for, of course, his work on Star Wars and writing Empire Strikes Back.
Nice.
Silverado.
Good trivia there. Yeah. Like father, like son. I love that. It's kind of like Ivan Reitman handing the baton to his son, Jason.
Yeah, for the new
Actually, because
Ghostbusters.
Lawrence Kasdan did Silverado, right?
I believe so, yes.
That is a great Western.
Yeah. And that has a great score by Bruce Broughton, by the way.
Mhm. Yes.
Very fun.
Yeah.
He direct? No, he wrote Empire and Jedi and The Force
Mhm.
Awakens, and
He wrote Solo.
Mhm.
and Raiders of the Lost Ark, actually.
Yeah, he was always a very big collaborator when it came to Lucas.
Yeah, and the funny thing, actually, he was actually the writer also of The Big Chill, and that's actually where Jonathan Kasdan made his film debut as a baby. I think he was maybe 3 years old when he made his debut in The Big Chill as a kid in the movie. So
Good to know. Rachel, full of trivia tonight.
Yes, yeah, you came prepared.
yeah.
Great. Yeah, The Big Chill. I haven't seen that in years, but it's got a great ensemble cast for sure.
Mhm.
Man, now I really want to watch Silverado.
Me too. Also a great cast.
Yeah, I was gonna say, and a lot of people you would never think would be in a Western, but
Kevin Kline.
yeah, Kevin Costner, who would imagine he'd be in a Western?
Right. Also, yeah, Yellowstone is on my list of stuff to watch.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
we'll see. Oh, so yeah, I'm hoping that if there is a season 2 of Willow, we'll get more practical stuff. We'll get more of a connection to the original movie. I doubt it. I think we're just gonna get more of the very good looking leading cast.
Well, hopefully we get more of Graydon. That was the one thing that I was very upset with the end of the season 1. I was very upset that I can't say more because spoilers, but I just want all good things for Graydon as a character. So
yeah. Tony Revolori from the Grand Budapest Hotel, one of the greatest movies of the last decade. he probably him along with Warwick were the most expensive actors to get for this project,
Yeah.
which
Mhm.
makes sense because Tony's very talented.
And taking a break from the Spider-Man movies.
Yeah, he needs a leading role, like something where he can really shine. I mean,
Yeah, I agree.
Mhm.
so yeah, I'm hoping that the future will be bright for Willow, but I don't know if it will be from this. Usually, Disney Plus series are really good, but this one was just a letdown for me. But we will see what happens.
We should.
Yes, we do. Thomas, final thoughts on Willow?
Well, I mean, I am hoping that it does redeem itself with next season if we do get one. I'm not going to say skip it or see it in particular because, like, I would just say, like, if you like the original movie, I would say stick with the original movie.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
How about you guys?
I'm definitely in the C category. Like I said, I think for me, the reason why I liked it again, I liked the ragtag group. I liked the characters, and so that really got me invested beyond just Willow showing up. And again, Davis having clearly a really good time back as Willow. But I really like these weird characters. I can't really explain it as well as, but I liked them a lot. They were a good little adventure group.
All right. Yeah, it has its fun moments, but overall, I just think the thing is a little cluttered and all over the place. And
Yeah, I think I just really liked
Yeah.
Gorman. I really
Yeah.
liked
I
Gorman.
think maybe a case also of individual performances maybe outshining the material a bit. Like
Yeah.
I will say that I think that also the character of Graydon very much benefited obviously from who was playing it. But I think I want to see more. I want to see more fantasy TV, and I want to see more fantasy TV that's not a total bummer like House of Dragons is.
I have to say, I actually really like the actress who played Alora too.
Yeah,
I
she
did
was very
really
good.
like her a lot.
Yeah. I would say there's some very talented people within the cast.
Yeah, it's a great cast. I think that's one thing I can say.
Yeah, and I hope that they get a season 2, and I hope that maybe some of those issues are figured out in season 2.
Yeah.
Agreed. True.
I think that the main thing for me was the look of this. It was just too kind of polished, and it looked too new. If they would have adopted the same kind of technology to make it look like the 1980 movie, kind of more of like a grainy 80s look, then that would have tied more into it and would have made for more of a smoother transition into the series. Yeah, I mean, maybe the second season will redeem itself. We shall.
Yes. And more puppets, more
Yeah,
more practical.
And brownies,
Yes.
more brownies.
Yes.
More Kevin Pollak. Definitely, that was a treat to see him.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, an overly expensive soap opera is my final thought on this. With great performance from an underutilized Warwick and Tony. So Willow is now streaming on Disney Plus, and also the original film is up there as well. So check both out.
Yes.
Maybe you'll disagree with me. Maybe you'll agree with me. We'll see.
I definitely can't disagree that the original movie is just an absolute
Yes.
fun wonder, and I love Val Kilmer as Mad Mardigan so much.
Yeah, he was fantastic. But it's a shame that most audiences will they just know Lord of the Rings, really. I mean, Willow kind of gets buried under decades of other fantasy films. It really is.
Well,
yeah.
I mean, it took how many years for me to come to it, and Disney Plus. That was my moment of being like, you know what, I'm finally going to watch it. So maybe this show will also renew an interest in the original movie. So
yeah, I'm assuming so. Because after you finish the season, one of the recommendations is, of course, the original film. So this will definitely bring viewers into that world, into the original film. I was actually I discovered it relatively late too, Rachel. I think I was in high school when I found out about it. I would have loved to have found out about it as a kid, growing up with like, Jurassic Park and Star Wars and Indiana Jones. But no matter when you discover it, it's a really special thing. So yeah, Willow is just one of those types of movies. Everything works, all the elements click, especially the score, which is like the lifeblood of this universe. So yeah,
And
Willow's
if I remember right, it's one of ILM's first. I know the scene where Shalindra is morphing between the different animals. I know that was one of the like ILM's first
yeah.
something on Willow, and I
It
don't remember
was-
what that morphing technology. I think they created it specifically for.
Yeah, I think that I think there was a scene in Cocoon, which was Ron Howard's previous film in 1985, where they utilized some of that morphing technology, which was for 1985 and 1988. That time period was brilliant, and of course they would kind of continue that type of technology in James Cameron's The Abyss, and following that up with Terminator 2. So the mid 80s to like the early 90s for ILM, that was the golden age. Right. Real quick, Thomas, ILM, what are your thoughts on ILM and the use of CGI?
Well, I think they're pretty good at doing their CGIs. I mean, like heck, like what movies you just point out was actually pretty ahead of its time.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I think like the CGI in like Terminator 2 like holds up to this very day, and it's better than some of the CGI we got later on in movies. Like that's something I always like to point out, how like, there's some bad CGI here and there, but like however, Terminator 2, which came out back in 1991, has better CGI than a movie that came out in, let's say, 2000.
Agreed.
The James Cameron factor.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Eric and Rachel, you guys weren't here last week. We did a little James Cameron retrospective. It was pretty cool.
I still have yet to see the new Avatar,
Oh,
but
really?
I will.
Okay, well, it's decent. Again, not as good as the original in my opinion, but still very, very pretty to look at.
Cameron brings his magic, I'm sure.
Thomas,
Oh, sorry.
Oh, I was just saying, I thought Avatar 2 was good myself.
Yeah. I think it just broke $2 billion globally.
Yeah.
Yep.
However, Avatar 2 not sold out at the Minneapolis theater. Megan, however, all screenings sold out.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I somehow doubt that Megan's gonna, reach that much in terms of money. But
yeah, I expect that it will probably make many times over its budget, but yeah, no, it won't be reaching Avatar 2 numbers.
Right. Surprised why they didn't just do a Willow 2 like a movie,
Yeah.
that would
I
have been,
definitely think that probably would have been better.
yeah, I think so. All right.
I'm sure that's more of the Disney Plus thing. I think Disney Plus prefers more of the television series route than the syndicated route or whatever, versus the movie.
Yeah, it's interesting. So I'm assuming that they know what they're doing. So like the number of views equates to the box office. So like, yeah, I'm not a businessman or anything, but I'm sure that the executives at Disney, they know what they were doing with Willow. So, but all right. So I say see it. If you are a pure, Willow hardcore fan like I am of the original film, see Willow on Disney Plus. Yes, Rachel.
I have a thought actually with what you were just saying.
Yeah.
I wonder if this show might be a way to reintroduce Willow into the public consciousness, and that we could build up to something almost akin to what we saw with the final things of Stranger Things, of the final bits of Stranger Things being shown in theaters, that heck, maybe volume 3 of Willow could end up being a new movie.
I mean, crazier things have happened.
The long game.
Yeah. We also had a number of seasons of Entourage on HBO, and then they released a feature-length film once the series wrapped, once it ended. So yeah, I hope you're right, Rachel. I would love to see another Willow on the big screen, but again, can't reiterate this enough. It's going to look like, just a very polished soap opera with very attractive leads. So we need to focus on Warwick. He needs a leading role again. That's not stupid.
He's a title character, like I said before.
I know, but he's underutilized. So I'm hoping the
Yeah.
future will bring good things for him, because he's a very talented actor.
I agree.
Mhm. Yes.
All right, guys. So we have a couple of minutes left. I just want to do some coming attractions for this week, or
Right.
at least when this episode's airing. So February 1st, we've got BTS yet to come in cinemas.
Oh.
What is that?
I work with some
Some
K-pop.
K-pop.
I work with K-popers. Julie. I'm very excited for that.
Oh my God. This is silly. Showcases BTS's massive free show at Busan's World Expo in October, which welcomed more than 50,000 in-person guests.
Yeah, again, you say that, but I know people who I work with who will be
Okay.
front row center for that movie.
Good to know. Next up, we have something equally ridiculous. 80 for Brady, which looks really cute. Really, so we've got, all right, who do we got here? We have Lily Tomlin, Jane Fonda, Rita Moreno, Sally Fields, and Tom Brady. Basically, these four senior women. A group of friends made it their lifelong mission to go to the Super Bowl and meet NFL superstar Tom Brady. It looks utterly ridiculous. I'm definitely going to see it with my mom.
From the
That
cast,
is a mom movie.
from the cast
Yeah.
you described, it sounded like the final season of Grace and Frankie.
Yeah. Yep.
This is just spillover from that show.
Yeah.
So that looks ridiculous. Very cute. All right. Oh, we have Knock at the Cabin, the latest M. Night Shyamalan thriller. Looks really cool. From the
I don't know how it's going to be, but I'm always rooting for Batista. So
this is a slightly different type of role for him, so I'm excited for that. What was the last one Shyamalan did? Old. That wasn't.
Did he produce someone or did he direct that one?
I think he directed.
He
that.
directed
I think
that
he
one.
directed that one.
Yeah.
I think you're right.
Which unfortunately I could not get through Old because the look of the movie just honestly hurt my eyes. Like I had a very hard time trying to watch that movie.
Yeah, it had a weird orangey filter on it. But
Yeah.
Mhm.
Plus, it was
But, like-
very, very disturbing.
Mhm. But yeah, I'm always rooting for Batista. So I'm hoping.
Nice. Real quick, Thomas Harriman. What did you think of Old?
Well, I movie, to be honest with you.
Okay, didn't get a
Well,
chance.
the reason why is because I'm not actually a fan of M. Night Shyamalan.
Oh, really?
Yes, I'm actually I'm actually a guy who actually can openly admit that I'm not a fan of him.
Gotcha. Good to know. I did not know that about you. Okay.
Not even as more popular like stuff that people actually, because I admit M. Night is all over the map when it comes to
Yeah.
the quality that it comes out of him. But even I like, I mean, it's cliche, but I like Signs. I do like Signs. I do like Sixth Sense.
That's my favorite Shyamalan film by far. Signs is
And,
so
yeah.
so well made.
Yeah, and the Harry Potter in me will always root for Rupert Grint, who is also in Knock at the Cabin, and also you previously interviewed him on the red carpet for Servants.
Yes, that was awesome. That was for an Apple TV Plus series, Servant, which was I think right before the pandemic, when they had in-person red carpets. And
Yep.
yeah, Rachel, you were with me for that. That was very cool. That was a good one. That was a fun night. So.
Yes.
Yeah, he's Shyamalan's very hit or miss, and I don't know. We really don't know. Sometimes we'll get what was the one that took Lady in the? Sometimes you get a Lady in the Water,
Right.
and then you'll turn around and you'll get something like Split. So you don't know.
Yeah, exactly. It's
You know?
you never know what you're getting out of M. Night.
Right.
Yeah.
But Signs is probably my favorite for sure. All right, continuing on the list of coming attractions, we've got The Amazing Maurice, which looks like a cute action adventure animated film. Hugh Laurie, Emilia Clarke, David Thewlis, Himesh Patel provide voices there. So that's interesting.
Okay.
Bosch and Rocket, it's a drama with Isabel Lucas and Luke Hemsworth. We've got Sword Art Online, the movie. Another
Anime.
Oh, you know it already. Okay.
I've never seen it, but I know of it.
Okay.
I know, and because the thing is, I know there's like 4,000 of these movies. So
Yeah. Good to know. What else do we got? We got He Killed in Ecstasy. It's a horror film. Another horror thriller, Dreams of Darkness. Facing the Laughter, Minnie Pearl. It's a documentary. So some decent stuff. Honestly, I think I'm most looking forward to 80 for Brady.
and Sword Art Online. Yep.
Yeah, and knock at the cabin. So
That I like I said.
I'm
I'm
curious.
I'm definitely hopeful for that one.
yes.
We'll see.
Cool, guys. All right, guys. So we still have a few minutes. I just want to go around and do some plugs real quick. I just want to mention that yesterday I got a very cool delivery of my HasLab Proton Pack, which was basically a special event last year where people had to back this project, which is basically a screen accurate proton pack for Ghostbusters. And most of the ghost heads that I know that I associate with have been waiting over a year for this pack. It finally came in the mail. It was delivered to my door yesterday, and it is a beautiful, just a great, it's basically a toy, but for adults. And it's gorgeous. You will see photos on my Instagram and Facebook about this. I hope to wear this in the next few events that are coming up, but you'll hear more about that in the coming days and weeks. But yeah, that's my main plug. But Thomas, anything for you, sir? Any projects you're working on now?
Well, I'm not working on any projects right now, but like I will, of course, plug a event I'm going to go to in a couple weeks. I'm going to be going to the screening of my friend's movie, Butcher's Bluffs. Like friend of mine who I actually worked with on an indie film is the director and also the star of the movie.
Awesome.
Yeah.
What was it? What was the title?
Butcher's Bluffs.
Butcher's Bluffs. Okay. And I'm assuming you'll send us some links to that once we can see it, or some information.
Oh, yeah, something like that. I mean, like my friend who made the movie did say that it's going to be a while before he releases it to the public because he's right now working on like getting a distributor for the film.
And I'm sorry, did you work on it yourself?
No, I didn't work on it. I just
Okay.
worked on the Sawyer Massacre, which is actually what my friend also acted in as well.
Nice. I know you're very busy over there in Texas with your horror stuff, so that's awesome. Cool. All right, Rachel, anything you're working on?
So I'll give my usual plugs for the Law of Donut Engineering in Jersey City. Still, like, even though I'm on a little bit of a vacation right now, they're still working away, making good donuts. Of course, you can check out on their Instagram their menu for this month, but got some really delicious stuff. Let me think. I will also plug my Instagram. Second Act Bake Shop is my baking Instagram, and Dobby the House Doggo is Dobby's Instagram.
No.
Passed out right here.
Who is a very good boy, and he is passed out.
Nice.
And I will also give a quick plug to a really great drag performer that I saw this past week. I went to go see a White Lotus themed drag show. Themed off of the HBO series. And I saw a really fantastic drag king called Dick Von Dyke. And just really, really good performance in the show. Apparently has also performed in previous shows with them, including a Schitt's Creek themed drag show.
That's
where
cool.
they played Roland Shit, which is pretty great. So yeah, definitely. I'm sure if you look up Dick Von Dyke on Instagram, that their page will come up.
Sounds good. All right, Dick Von Dyke. I can't get over that. Eric, anything for you, sir?
No. I'm just gonna I'm on vacation as well, but I'm doing my thing, and so definitely support all of Rachel's culinary adventures.
Awesome. So supportive. And I hope Dobby is dreaming beautiful dreams right now.
Yeah, buddy. No,
Oh.
he is out.
He is
He is curled up and he is passed out.
Nice. All right, and as for me, you can catch new episodes of Under the Radar every Monday at 11 a.m. Eastern through Manhattan Neighborhood Network. It streams on their website. Also, you can check out the show on cable TV channels, FiOS 34, RCN Astound 83, and Spectrum 56 and 1996, as well as seeing previous episodes and other content on the Under the Radar YouTube channel. Just subscribe and share and spread the love. So, guys, I just want to thank you for tonight. This was a great show as always, and you guys are always welcome. And I want to thank you. I'm Randy Unger. This has been Under the Radar. We'll see you next time, guys. Take care.